crochet friends, it's me, Jonah, and let's thank Yarn Inspirations for sponsoring today's show and tell. I made this red heart crochet trapper hat, and I made this trapper hat because in Wisconsin winters are frigid, and this kind of hat will keep you so warm. And the components are that the top here is worked in red heart hygge yarn. It's this yarn, and it is so soft, and it has all these furs coming out, just like a real trapper hat, and it comes in so many different colors. This color, which I'll be demonstrating with today, is the color rust, and the whole base here and all the other parts except for the linings, it's done with a linked double crochet, which are double crochets that are linked through the middle stitch, and I'll show you a demonstration later. And then the other component is the fur, and the fur is made using Red Heart's hygge fur yarn. And what you do is you hold two strands together with a tiny hook, and then you get this really thick fur right here, a nice whole layer. And this is their cream colorway. It's their cream colorway. And it's a very interesting yarn. You can see here, it looks thin, but with all these extra fluffs here, when you hold two on a small hook, it's a nice, dense, thick, warm fabric. And the lining, in the pattern, it's only on the ears and then on the flap in the front of the head, but you could line it on the whole inside, except I didn't, since I actually tripled and then made it extra thick and dense for the ears, and then for the front flap, and for the front flap right here, and then the ear flaps right here and all other areas, it's single crochet with the lining, and then all the fur is worked in single crochet too. And I chose to go with neutrals, this really nice tree brown, and this beautiful off-white cream color, but you can go with any colors. Red Heart has tons of colors in these two yarns. You can go with like a bright white and a really fun variegated, any colors go together, but I prefer to go with a solid color and more muted tones because that's just my style. And now I'm going to give you a demonstration of how to work the linked double crochet and then put the fur and how to line the fur in on this Red Heart trapper hat. See, here's the side, has the right ear flap there, the other side, and then the front flap right here, and then in the back at the base here, there's actually a little fur line there too for when you go around. And now time for your demonstration on this really cool trapper hat. Okay, so like I said earlier, our first component of the trapper hat is this part right here. It's the linked double crochet. Okay, so what for this you have to do is that you gotta pull out your crochet hook, and then you just start with the basic slip knot like always. And then I'm just gonna chain 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then for the linked double crochet, you just have to start by inserting up and making your regular double crochet. And then you insert right into that first little post there at the bottom halfway. Pull up, insert into your next stitch, like so. See how it's linked here? And then you go into the next post on the side here, pull up, insert right into the next chain, and pull through, insert right into this next loop, next chain, pull up, pull through. And you can see how most of the time all the stitches are separate, except if you pull it apart, it's all the same. That's because it's the same height as a double crochet, but it actually has more the look of Tunisian crochet. Do a couple more demonstrations for you, and then we're going to turn and work back the other way and then start our fur. And once you get the hang of this, it can go really really fast. And another tip is that since this is worked in the round, as if to avoid a seam, you should always use a stitch marker or a contrasting color of yarn to mark your rows so you can have an even hat and not come out not right. There, I've worked to the end of the row, and you can see where it gets that name linked double crochet because all of the double crochets are linked right into the center here. And now what we have to do is just chain up 2. Just make that double crochet and then go into that first stitch, the next stitch, and then create our linked double crochets the same as we were doing before. Just like this, just continuing going across. And then when you guys will have this worked in rows continuously, but I'm just working it in rows because it's flat, and then that can give you a better vision of the fur. One more into that same stitch, into our last stitch. See, look at that. We have 2 linked rows of double crochet. So now we're just going to go out a ways and then just pull that up through. See, there's our 2 rows of linked double crochet, and then here's what it will look like once you get more of that linked double crochet done. I worked up a flat swatch with the fur just so you can really see how it'll look on a flat surface. And now it's time to add our fur into our swatch. So the interesting thing with the fur is that you have to pull from 2 different areas. You got to pull from the center, and then you got to take this one, then you just kind of got to unwrap this, and then you got to pull from the side too. So you're holding these 2 together, you match them up at the end, and then it makes it a lot easier if, when you get out your 5.5mm hook, so you insert right into that stitch, and what you begin by doing is just pulling that right through, see, with 2 stitches. And I know this might be kind of hard to see, but that's the way that the furs worked, but I'll try to give you really, really clear stitches. There, I just chained 1. As you can see, if you go right in, you actually see the V's there. Go into that same stitch, and making sure that you hold the 2 strands together. Pull it up, and if you kind of separate them, you can see your 2 strands here, 2 strands there. Yarn over, pull through, and you're just single crocheting. And for crocheters who've crocheted and are more advanced, you can kind of just work faster with it, but if you're just beginning, you should take this part slowly since it's kind of hard to see for the first row. There, we've worked 1 row of fur already, and then you just have to work rows on top of that, and then it will just have more height, and then you can just connect it up with the same length. And another tip is crochet them together with the fur. With the fur, it looks best because then it kind of lines it and it makes it wider. And also, when you're working, make sure that you catch both loops of the base by just working into one at the beginning. And thank you so much for watching the show and tell on the Red Heart Crochet Trapper Hat. And please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Jonah's Hands and Yarn Inspirations. Goodbye and crochet away, friends.